Alright, good day to you, friends. We are still here hanging out at Grayson Highlands State Park in Virginia, which is so far, I would say it's met or exceeded expectations. The trail we did in last week's episode, it was a good trail. It wasn't like a spectacular trail, but you can tell that there's a lot more to see here and some spectacular things in the area. And I think maybe we would have been better off earlier if it had been a little less hazy. It might even still be some wildfire smoke from Canada. I'm not 100% sure because while we were at the beach, I haven't been keeping up with that situation because there was none down there. Right now we're headed over to an area called Scales, and the people that were in the site next to us recommended this. I'm not sure who recommended it to them. I think a ranger or someone at the visitor center, but the fellow I talked to at the visitor center did not know about driving to it. If you've been following along, you'll know that Rachel's still recovering from the sun poisoning issue. So she doesn't have a whole lot of energy, and tomorrow's hike is going to be strenuous. So we were trying to figure out a good afternoon activity that wouldn't require high energy levels. And we've already hiked over a mile today. So that's a good thing. This whole, it's like the universe is like working towards pointing us in this direction towards Scales. So that's what we're going to do. Friends, this truck rides horribly off-road. Mostly I would guess it's because of the tire pressures, and it's built for hauling. It does have the off-road package, the Bilstein shocks, and all that stuff. It is set up for off-road, but only to a certain degree. And they did say this road's pretty rough. So we're going to lower the air pressure here. Normally I do run them at what the door sticker says. So the fronts are 60 and the rear is 65. I'm going to lower everything down to 50. Obviously there is still some weight in the back, stuff that we didn't take out because we ain't using it here, but we're not towing the camper and we're not going to be going fast. Even from here to there on the hard roads, we're not going to be going fast, so it shouldn't be a big deal to lower them all down to 50. That's kind of the plan, and that should hopefully give us a better ride going up this road. Like I said, in previous experiences last year in North Carolina and to Round Island Run Falls and the things that we've done, it beats you up. So this will hopefully make that a little bit better. And I should mention also, if you're going to be doing this sort of thing, make sure you have an air compressor that's capable of bringing your truck's tire pressures back up to whatever PSI that need to be. Some like 1-tons and stuff, you need a good air compressor to get up to 80. These will only be going up to 60 or 65, so I know that mine's capable of doing that. We'll show you that after the journey. This will of course upset the TPMS system. It's not going to be happy, but we'll be a lot more comfortable, I think. So yeah, let's get going. Let's hit the road. Another way that we're kind of electing to do this is going to be with the Ram's onboard GPS system. As soon as it loads here, we can't program it in to take us where we're going. Probably could with GPS like coordinates or something, but I'm just going to use it for the roads. I also took a picture of the map at the visitor center, so I've got that stuff on my phone, and I think I've got pretty clear directions to get us there by following this and that. Come out of the park, you make a left on, this is Route 58, and then we're looking for Route 16, and we're going to make a left on 16, and then Troutville, I believe is what we're looking for, and we'll make a left there. So it's a bunch of lefts. We've come down this hill, essentially just to go back up another one, but like I said, we were told spectacular views and wild ponies, so that's what we're going to find. Just quickly here, friends, we're filling up with gas. We're at the intersection of 16 and what's that other road that we were just on? 58? 58. Yeah, so I can't stress enough, Grayson Highlands is in a really remote location, so be sure you get gas where you can, so you don't want to end up stranded somewhere without fuel, especially wherever it is that we're going right now on this off-road adventure. You want to make sure you have a full tank of gas before you start doing this kind of thing. If you get lost, At least you're not really lost till you're out of gas. So friends, if you're coming into Troutdale and there's a church on your right and it's several lefts after the church, it says it's State Route 603. It's like a fair or something. The GPS calls it Fairwood. Yeah.
Fairwood Road.
Fairwood Road. But it also, there's a sign and it says National Scenic Byway. So that's where you want to turn left. Alright, so it appears we have made it. 613 is the number. There's a National Forest sign that says 613. Now, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but if you can see ahead of me what we're up against, that's why I aired down the tires, because this kind of stuff, with this truck in particular, we would get beat up. So I'm hoping, with less air, I'm hoping for it to be a reasonably smooth ride. You know, there are 4 of us in the truck. But I have plenty of faith in the old girl, so let's do it. I don't believe that a stock half-ton truck could do this. I would say a half-ton with like a leveling kit, a couple inches or whatever, is plenty. Only one spot so far that I've had to use 4-wheel drive. It's plenty wide for, you know, a big truck. I mean, this is a stock 3/4 ton Ram with the off-road package and BF Goodrich KO2s. It's absolutely doable in this type of rig. I want to go see what this sign says real fast. Yeah, I mean, this is a very fun off-road adventure though. Like, this is my type of thing, absolutely, for sure. Now there are trails up here. This is one right here, and so like you could walk here the whole way from Grayson Highlands. You just have to have the energy and the time and stuff available to do it. So this is a trail here. It says Switchback Trail. It's 1.4 miles to somewhere. VHHT, whatever that means. But yeah, I like doing this kind of off-road thing. It's fun. And that's why I have this truck that I do, and it's what it's built for. So we're using her today. But I think it's a long way up, so we're going to keep on trucking. That's a better look back at what we just came through. And it's got switchbacks, obviously. So that's where we're going. And friends, I will tell you too, this is about the most challenging thing that I would want to do in this truck. Because it is our tow vehicle. And so I don't want to break it. This trail, the guy that recommended it said, it's not horrible. There's no real challenges on here, but it's just like there's just enough obstacles to make it fun. And the reason I say no stock half tons is because you will definitely rip off a running board if you've got running boards on it. I mean, if you don't, then probably okay. I mean, this has running boards, and I haven't scraped them at all, but this thing sits up pretty high. So friends, I guess I'm totally wrong in assuming that a half-ton truck couldn't make it up here, because that person just went up in a totally bone stock Subaru Outback. So I don't know. Maybe he knows something I don't. But
he's going faster than
and he's flying too. We're putzing around a good bit because I don't want to break my truck, and we got kids in the back seat. So he was by himself. I don't know where he's going. We'll probably see him at the top.
There were children back there.
We've come through this cattle gate here, and that's what they're using to keep the ponies, the wild horses, in this area. So we are now driving into the area where the wild horses can be found. This is just another, maybe a better glimpse of the trail. Guys, I'm still recommending like an off-road capable vehicle for this. Like, this is not for the faint of heart, just so you know. If you get stuck up here, it's not my fault for showing you. Alright, so we kind of got told that you can walk any direction and odds are you'll find ponies. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go that way because this fellow up here, he seems like he's pretty well versed in being up here, and that's where he's going. There's a map. There's people camping up here in all types of vehicles, so I mean, I guess do whatever you want as it relates to that. There's restrooms and all kind of stuff. I mean, like, this is a popular happening place. So, I mean, you obviously couldn't camp up here with any kind of trailer, but tent camping and overlanders and rooftop tents, all that kind of stuff. This is your ideal location. There's the old ram. She made her up. And yeah, I mean, there's no ponies up that way. So that's kind of why he was saying don't go that way. Okay, so the history of this area. When farmers and ranchers back in the day, they walked their horses and cattle from here the whole way down to town. I guess where we were, Troutville maybe, or Fairview. Anyhow, they quickly learned that on the walk down, their cattle lost a bunch of weight because of the walk. So they started weighing them up here and selling them up here. That's why it's called the scales, because they weighed them here. Basically, they still lost the weight, but they charged for the weight up here. So it's kind of cheating the system, because that's how they sold it. Yeah, high country weight, Rachel says. So that's why it's the scales. It's beautiful up here. It's a very, very unique landscape. I really don't. Have you seen anything like this? Ever?
Places in Tennessee looked like this.
Like all like...
Especially because of the wildfires and stuff.
Okay.
But it's really pretty nonetheless.
But we're just walking. We don't have a map and we don't want to get lost. So we're just... I got some binoculars. Maybe we'll find a pony off in the distance or something. That's our goal today, is find ponies. If we don't see them today, I would almost guarantee we're going to see them tomorrow.
You felt that creek, right?
But, yes, I did. Friends, let me know in the comments. These beasts that we're trying to find, are they horses? Are they ponies? Wild ponies? Wild horses? What are they called? Let me know. End the debate. We haven't found any yet. So, but we're going, they said there's a salt lick up here. So, we're going to find the salt lick. You would think that that's where they'll be. But we got slowpoke back there. Not making very good time. This fence here don't make a lot of sense. It just ends. Once we have found the elusive pony. This is what we came here for. They're big. If I don't get blown away, we're going to take you as close as we can safely get. Remember, friends, if you are coming here, please do not touch the ponies. Do not try to get close enough to them to touch them. We're going to try to film them. Rachel thinks I'm going to get eaten by a pony. But if they're ponies and not horses, are they really that dangerous? Friends, tell me in the comments. Pony doesn't even sound like a dangerous word, from what someone else told us. This is apparently a stallion, and I guess they're territorial. And it doesn't like that I'm walking towards it. But we gotta get close enough so you can see what we're looking at. Well, there's your ponies.
There's the ponies.
This one, someone told us it's a stallion, so we're going to try not to get too close because Rachel thinks that it might eat us.
I don't think it'll eat us, but stallions are territorial. And supposedly in this group there's also a mare with a foal. So they're going to be a little bit more on edge than normal.
It's windy. Friends, the scenery here just can't be beat. We're in such a remote place. I did not realize how remote of a place we were going to until we got here. And there's like nothing for miles. It's my type of place. Friends, they are like right here. Like this is awesome. I'm walking backwards because of the wind, but friends, you can examine the hoof prints and you'll know if it's a pony, like a wild pony, or if it's someone riding around here on a horse. You'll know which ponies are wild and which ones are people riding around on horseback because you'll see footprints with and without horseshoes. You are allowed to ride horses up here. That trail that we seen on the way up, the NHHT trail, that's National Horse Heritage Trail, I believe, is what that stands for. So yeah, we've seen quite a few people riding horses up here, even when we went across that cattle guard. The scenery up here is just epic. I can't stress enough how beautiful this area is. I can't wait for tomorrow's hike, and we should be able to see more ponies on that hike tomorrow if all goes well. Alright, so friends, down by where the truck's parked, there's more ponies, several of them, so we're trying to get down there and see them. But as a side note, I've said this before and I want to say it again, especially in this instance: pick up your trash. Like, this could be hazardous to the horses if they eat it. I mean, animals are dumb, so like, animals see stuff like this laying around, they're gonna eat it. Don't do it. And this could have been an accident, but I know a lot of people just don't care. So I'm telling you, don't litter. And this is gross. I don't normally pick up trash that I find because it grosses me out, but in this particular instance, I'm picking it up because I don't want the horses to eat it. So here's where we're parked, and over there is the ponies. Friends, we're standing right here and right there. How awesome is it? We didn't even have to hike up that giant hill. We were right here the whole time. Before we exit the horse place, is there any fun and exciting things you have to say about horses?
Well, these are ponies.
Ponies. Horses.
They're wild ponies. This was really cool. I'm really glad we made the trek up here. It is really windy, and I still think those storms, we might be hitting those. They're just maybe slow moving, so the weather is changeable up here.
Yeah, we said that in last week's episode. Always be mindful of the weather around here. This would be an awesome place to camp. Rachel and I decided we're bringing tents up here, and we're going to camp up here. So look forward to that. Subscribe for that, because one of these days it's going to happen, you know, maybe in the next year or two. I don't know. If we can get a weekend or something without the kids that we can come down here, like a long weekend, that'd be awesome. We're doing a long weekend trip this year, but it's not a tenting thing that we're not taking the kids. We're going back to our campground now. So whatever shenanigans we get into this evening, that'll still be part of this episode. So hang around with us for a little bit longer, and we'll see you back at the camp. All right, friends, we're back here at the campsite. So as far as the tire pressure and the trail, it would have been preferable to have them lower than the 50 that I set them at. Probably like 40 maybe. The problem with that is I didn't feel comfortable running at 40 on the pavement for 20 miles to get where we were going. I could have lowered them at the trailhead, and I could have raised them up when we got done, but with the wife and kids in the truck, I didn't want to cause that much of a delay. And this pump is not very quick. I did just get them all back up to where they're supposed to be. Should have filmed it for you. I'm sorry I didn't. But so as RVers, it's important that we have a pump that can get the tires of the truck and the camper back up to where they're supposed to be. Now ours of the camper is 65 psi, and same with the truck is what they're supposed to be. Trucks are 80 max, and if you have 1 ton, it's going to be 80 psi that you're going to want to run them at. This it's from Harbor Freight, and I think it was like $75 or something along those lines. I'll put a link and an actual price to the current, because obviously things cost way more now than they did. And I got this 2020 when we first bought the camper. It's Pittsburgh Automotive, 12 volt, 150 psi. So that's what it goes up to. So that should cover anything I ever own in the future. I will tell you, we had a flat with the truck in May. It was fine, you know, plug the tire, get this thing out, go to pump it back up. And this hose, these yellow hoses that are very common with air compressors, but anyhow, it burst actually. It's been sitting in the back of the truck. Now it's been used. I used to use it quite a bit with Castle Rocks to make sure that my trailer tires were good all the time. But this is the first I've used it with the truck. What I ended up having to do was shorten the hose on this end. You can take this rubber hickey off and take this fitting apart, then shorten the hose. So I just cut it where the gash was and then shortened it. I aim to get a new hose. That's part of my plans. Then the fittings for this side are kind of unique. Not sure exactly how that's all going to pan out. If I do something on that, we'll do maybe a full review of this. But for now, I'm just telling you that I like this and it works good, and you should have something like this with you at all times, RVing. But it does take some time to pump the tires of the truck back up. So that's why I didn't lower the pressure more, because that'd take more time to get them back up. Plus, like I said, driving on pavement. Let me know in the comments, what do you do for tire pressures when you're doing off-road stuff like that? It'd be nice for a cushier ride. As for here at Grayson Highlands, right now we're getting ready to build a fire. So we got to get the fire pit ready. We're making foil packets. I'm not going to show you much of that because you've seen it before. Swallow Falls. If you want to know how to make foil packets, the last video from Swallow Falls, I believe. Conveniently airing today. So that's how far behind we are. So we're doing that, and we're just kind of relaxed. So probably close out this video with some campfire, maybe some quick shots of the foil packets, and some other stuff as it happens and unfolds here. Next week's episode, be sure you don't want to miss it, because we're going to the top of Mount Rogers. That's tomorrow's adventure. Really excited for it. That's why we're here. So if I don't see you anymore in this video, we'll see you next video.